Hey, my name is Dempsey Pilot. It is a pleasure to be speaking with both of you.
Hey man, how
Nice
are
to speak
you?
with you.
uh, First question I gotta ask: uh, what's your favorite Nicolas Cage movie?
Mine is The Rock. I won't, if that's on, I will not turn it off. And then I grew up watching, my mom's favorite movie was Moonstruck. So Moonstruck is one where I think amazing movie. Nick shines among an amazing cast.
I'm just like neck and neck with like Raising Arizona and Adaptation. I can't get enough of either of those movies.
No Face Off Love? Dang, it's okay, it's okay.
What's yours?
well,
What's yours?
No, I love
Face Off?
Face Off.
Face Off is so good.
It's too good. It's insane how good it is, truly.
That's the thing. You start digging into the catalog and you can't pick one because you're like, oh yeah, I also love Matchstick Men. Oh, I actually, you know what? It's Valley Girl's incredible, or you like Con Air. I don't know. There's so many.
Yes. But first and foremost, once again, it's a pleasure to be speaking with both of you. I have to ask. I love the movie. It's insane. It's probably one of the most original bromances that I've ever seen, and it's hilarious. Where did the idea come from? How do you go about just making a movie about Nicolas Cage and his career, and just that's the plot of the movie?
I don't know. We were just thinking about this guy who presents as like larger than life, and we had this idea about like, would it be fun to see who this person is like in real life when he's off set, when he's just like being a dad, when he's just a normal guy? How does he think about himself and where he fits into like the cultural ecosystem? And it's a guy who's transcended the idea of being just like an actor who's potentially out of favor. Like he's like a guy who's become a cultural institution via like the internet, via like meme culture. And so we wanted to see like play with the idea of like his identity, who he is versus who you think he is, and create a narrative around that.
And so obviously, if Nicolas Cage is not on board, the whole movie falls apart. So how did you get him to be involved in this?
So yeah, I mean, what happened was we took a chance. We wrote the script, and then we started showing friends, showing agents and managers, and eventually it got to Nick, and we kind of got the feedback like, oh, it's not going to happen. He's been kind of shown projects like this before where Nick as Nick. And so what we had to do was ended up writing him a letter to kind of explain our intentions and the fact that this was a love letter and that this would be like an opportunity for him to, on a large scale, play with, who people think he is versus who he really is. And it would be this like weird, big performance art piece that we thought if there was one person who might be into something like that, Nick would be the kind of like artist, movie star who would be down, and he was.
And he produces it. So, he loved it that much. That is fantastic. And I cannot commend you enough on how much it is a love letter, but how much it works on every level with all the homages and, just him being so self-referential as a fictionalized version of himself. One of my final questions, just for the sake of time, there's a lot that this movie has in it, and there's a lot to unpack from it. But what are you hoping that people take away from it?
I think when we were making this, it was sort of the peak, like pre-vaccine pandemic. And we just hoped that we wanted to make something that had an underlying sense of like joy and hope. And, we sort of love now when people come and just say they had fun, because I really honestly think that that's what people need right now.
And I think it's, Tom and I are big movie fans. Nick is a big cinephile in real life, as is Pedro, as are their characters. And the movie is, a celebration of movies, making movies, loving movies. And so it is a really fun experience in a theater with the crowd.
And then final question, just because I have to ask, I thought it was almost perfect to have David Gordon Green cameo in this, because he has an equally chaotic filmography as Nicolas Cage. Was that planned, or was that just like a cameo that happened the last minute? Talk to me about how he ended up being involved in it.
Wow, it was very difficult to get people to come just play little roles in the film. If people were coming in for a day, they had to quarantine for so long. David happened to be in town. Him and Nick are such close friends from Joe that we told him what the idea was, and we didn't know David either. And he immediately said, yes, I'm down, I'm coming, I'm going to do this, and came right over and and knocked it out for us. And it was so great to have him in the film. He's such a hysterical, fun human being, and totally got what we were doing.
Yeah, his reaction looks totally unscripted. It's fantastic. But thank you guys. That is all the time that I have today, but it was a pleasure speaking with you. And I cannot wait for other people to see this movie. Thank you so much, and take care.